Hello and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Life. I am Precious Chukudi, and of course, thank God it is Friday. And we'll be starting off with the front pages of the paper, starting off with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with the main story, which says Petrol scarcity lingers as private depot sells at 240 naira per litre. The rider says shortage may continue till June. That's coming from Ipman. Queues increase in Abuja, Lagos, others. Seven private depots reopened. Regulators not at filling stations as commuters pay high fares. You can see a photo story showing Buhari endorses ex-air chief. Obi challenges other candidates on educational records. Health status says a presidency not a retirement job. Capital importation falls 24% to $4.56 billion. On sports, we have AJ's career finished if he loses fight in April. Stories above, we have IPOP, a disown alleged female executioner. Almost murder, I stabbed her unknowingly. Chinese National Tells Court. INEC extend PVC collection deadline to January 29th. The rider says to punish staff over alleged extortion, discriminatory issuance. All right, let's move, take a look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation is leading with millions of uncollected PVCs force INEC to ship deadline. The rider says that 13.87 million cards printed for valid registrants. Agency probes alleged extortion. NLC, TUC others endorse Tinubu Sanwo-Olu. Stories above, rejection of new Naira notes a crime. That's coming from CBN. Troop killed 50 terrorists in 3 weeks, says DHQ. Government woos Spain to invest in gas security. Policeman killed in security agent. Kidnappers gun duel. Last year on the front page of the Nation, AJF 6.32 million euro, 5.5 million euro, and $390 million looted funds recovered in 7 years. All right, let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with banks defy CBN continues issuing old naira notes. The writer says new banknotes still scarce, still scanty. Only one out of nine banks in Boko issuing new notes. In Benue, new notes treated as souvenirs. Kanu customers tackle cashier over mutilated notes. Long queues at ATM paying new naira. Apex Bank kicks off sensitization program. Stories below, Ajaokuta steel plant, like refineries, a story retold, promises unkept. You can read the big story on pages 4 and 5. I never wanted third term presidency, says Obasanjo. Stories above, you've lost Igbo support over comments. That's coming from Serge. Serge tells Tinubu. INEC extend PVC collection deadline till January 29th. Sanwo-Olu promises better tomorrow if re-elected. Gunmen kill four vigilantes, raise buildings in Anambra bomb attack. Well, let's take a look at the Punch newspaper, and the Punch is leading with budget deficit rises 370%, hits 47 trillion naira under Buhari. Rider says president to pass on $15.62 billion Eurobond repayment to next government. Be guided by diplomatic practice, federal government urges envoy. My wife unconscious for 3 days after sextupled birth. Husband, you can read that story on page 4. EFCC shortlists 26 bidders for forfeited assets. Gunmen kills four Anambra vigilantes. Bomb five buildings. Stories above. We have 648 cases brought against President federal government. That's coming from the AGF. Ballot paper. Local printers set to sue INEC. Commission extend PVC's collection till January 29th. Lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have federal government will Spanish investors for 7 oil blocks. And that's all we can take on the front pages of the papers. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining, still today in the News on Vanguard Live, I am Precious Chukudi. Joining me to talk about some of the stories on the front pages of the papers this morning is Dr. Tai Obateru. He's the Associate Professor, Department of Mass Communication, University of Jos. Good morning, sir. It's good to have you join me this morning.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
All right, let's delve in, and we're talking petrol. And we've been having this conversation since last year about how petrol has been scarce. And according to IPMAN, now they're saying that the current petrol scarcity might continue till June 23rd. That's when the new government is expected to, remove subsidy. What's your thoughts about it?
Yes, I think it is high time we make up our minds what we really want to do. As we have always said, it is not clear what is causing this problem, because if we are supposed to be an oil-producing country, there are supposed to be some things that the citizenry will benefit from being an oil-producing country. But since we are saying we want to leave everything to market forces, it is better we do it, because the so-called subsidy is not really having a positive effect on the people. People still continue to suffer to get this product by the so-called subsidy. So it's not better to just deregulate the whole thing and allow the people and allow things to take their natural course, so that we now know where we're going. As the marketers are saying, unless government frees the industry so that more investors will come and invest, then we'll continue to have this problem. Because right now they say they're getting the product from independent oil marketers at a very high cost of between 230 and 240. So by the time they add cost of transportation and other costs, of course it goes up, and we don't expect them to sell at a loss. What is clear is that government is unprepared to tackle the situation in a manner that would be beneficial to the people. So they should just allow it. They cannot be talking about enforcing so-called regulated or government price when the product is not available. They went and closed private depots for selling at a higher rate than government has prescribed. But if you want my government and the control price is available, I don't think that we'll be having this crisis. So it also means that government is not making it available. As long as the government is not making enough available, then they cannot be justified in trying to force the private marketers who source it at their own cost to sell at the government regulated price. So I think it is we wait for the time, but it is unfair for government to allow people to continue to suffer. More so, people's income has not increased, especially those who are working for government, and yet the price of everything is going up. One thing that is clear is that anytime we have increase in the prices of petrol, it's going to have a spiral effect, because the cost of transportation of goods and services also goes up, and that translates into high inflation. So we still have a long way to go. We are hopeful that when the new government comes in, they will address this issue headlong, so that we should not continue to have this problem.
Mm. Now, Nigerians are actually tired of excuses on this fuel scarcity, but then the real question is, how do you think that we can actually solve this perennial fuel scarcity once and for all?
Yeah, the question that is begging for an answer is, why do they always talk about removing subsidy and they end up not removing it at the end of the day? Before this present government came into office in 2015, they were saying everything about the subsidy was a fraud. There won't be anything like this, like that. They're going to remove it, but they came and still maintained it. There are those who have alleged that it is an avenue for people in government to siphon funds. Otherwise, why should it be difficult to just take this so-called subsidy off, and let's see what is going to come to? Because right now we're not. If without the removal of subsidy we're buying fuel for 300 something, then what are we talking about? How much will it cost if they eventually remove the subsidy? That's how far it can go, even if they remove the subsidy. So it's better for us to just talk about removing this subsidy, attract investors as they are claiming it will enhance, and let us see where it will take us to. But definitely, this issue of subsidy from year to year is not really achieving results, and we should just think of a better way out of resolving the issue. One thing is that it's disgraceful for us to continue as an oil producing country to have this kind of problem. It shows that we're not getting our acts right, and we remain in a laughing stock in the international community.
All right, let's move ahead and talk about this one now. The Labour Party candidate Peter Obi has enjoined Nigerians to vote in competent persons, also people who are mentally and physically prepared. And this is coming from a day where the presidential candidate of the APC and PDP were trading words about their health status and credibility. What's your take on this one?
It's part of the politicking process. They're throwing bats at one another, and so we continue to see it back and forth from the various presidential candidates. So it appears Obi, who appeared a little bit reserved, is beginning to speak too, and urging Nigerians to choose well. So we can only join in appealing to Nigerians to choose well. Let them look at all the others that has been put on the table. It's good that the candidates themselves are coming up with all these issues concerning one another. So I mean, it will help Nigerians to decide and choose right. But one thing that is certain is that if we really want our country to progress, we must choose right. We must look at all the odds and choose which option is better for us as a country. Otherwise, we'll continue to lament and we'll continue to grope in the dark as we have been doing.
Of course, it's the election season, and politicians are always going to be rolling out their electoral promises and manifestos. And but the question is, these are things that Nigerians have heard time and time again. Why exactly do you think that these people, when they get into office, they find it really hard to fulfill their promises?
I think it's a problem of our system, the way that our politics is. Allows such. If we were, my feeling is that if we get to a level where people's votes really count, where the choice of the people is what we get at the end of the day, I think it will go a long way in forcing those who will elect to do what will be best for the people. Where people think that they can get into office irrespective of whether they perform or not, or they can remain in office, they win elections, whether they perform or not, then that is where we're having issues. And of course, the electorate also ask themselves some questions. Some people will go and collect money from politicians and still be expecting them to work for them. It will not happen because when they give you money, they are investing. And they will rather recoup their money first and even make profit from it than work for you. So Nigerians must also become sensible. We have seen promises and promises that end up not being met. And so it is time for us to begin to reason that it is best for us not to go and collect peanuts from them and then allow them to govern us or misgovern the country. Let us begin to ask questions and demand that those we elect work for us. Until we begin to do that, our politicians will continue to take us for granted. And we'll be having this vicious cycle of bad leaders who have no interest in advancing the country.
All right, INEC has extended by 7 days the deadline for collections of PVC. And, we've had citizens who have complained about extortion from INEC officials, as well as difficulties, in picking up their cards. What are your thoughts? Have you had any experience or heard anybody who has had such experiences?
Yes, I've had an experience. My son went to collect his PVCs sometime back. What he did was he changed the center, and so he was supposed to go and collect the card for the new center. And this siege mentality was created, where some so-called security people just came and started whipping everybody just to cause a kind of mayhem. People that are supposed to maintain order ended up disrupting the whole thing. The question I want answered is, why do we always like to create siege mentality, siege situations, a situation of siege in our country? Why do we leave things to the last minute? Why do we allow people to suffer for things that can be simple? INEC has offices in every local government, I think. And there are awards. Why did they wait till this time before they start distributing the thing? Why not do it well ahead of the election? So that we will not have this kind of siege mentality that people are creating. Of course, we know Nigerians. When you allow this kind of situation, the workers are bound to exploit it to make money. And that is what exactly is happening. They create that siege mentality. Instead of easing up the whole system and allow people to just walk in and pay their gas, they are now creating a situation where people will have to gather in hundreds and thousands looking for how to collect their cards. I think it's good that they have extended it, but I doubt if it will achieve much if they do not put measures in place to end the laxity and deliberate sabotage by even people who are members of staff of INEC.
Hmm. All right, so looking at the forthcoming election, would you say INEC is really prepared? Because at the start of this week, we heard the INEC was saying that they might eventually cancel or postpone the election, only to give us assurances 2 days after that they are ready. So do you think that they are ready?
Well, we can only take them for their words. If they say they are ready, let us believe that they are ready. But if we look at what we're having with the collection of the permanent voters cards right now, it does not give one that confidence to take them for their words. They had assured us that collection of voters cards will not be difficult. But what are we having now? So we can only hope that they learn their lessons from what is happening with the distribution of the PVCs and ensure that all these laxities and hiccups that we're seeing does not come during the election. But they will do well to ensure that the election is not postponed so that people are anxious to vote and have a change in the country. And at least they should that they have all the years to prepare for the election. So it shouldn't be any last minute change. There shouldn't be any last minute change that will disrupt the projections. So let's have the elections and let them work hard to ensure that the election is free.
All right, do you think that the forthcoming election would, strengthen our democracy?
It should. Every experience should add something to our growth. And so I want to think that, especially with the introduction of BVAS, let us see how it's going to function. It functions well based on the assurances we have been given. It is bound to improve our electoral process. So the new electoral law is going to come to be tested, and we hope that the improvements that were enshrined in that law should have a positive effect on our election. So I'm hopeful that it will add something to our electoral history, and we're going to benefit from the experience.
All right, let's take a look at Mr. and Mrs. Mr. is speaking this morning. He says, when things are tough, it's for better for worse. What if things improve? And Mrs. says, for better for us.
Better for us. Okay, now. So we pray for things to continue to improve so that it will be for better for us.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Tayo Bateru, Associate Professor, Department of Mass Communication, University of Jos. Thank you for sharing your thought with us this morning.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
All right, also remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. You can go to our website, www.vanguardngr.com. I am Precious Chukudi, and thank you for watching.